Hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today, yes, it's late night, of course it is. It's 10:57. Not as late as sometimes I record these videos, but late. Why? Because I can't afford to do this during the daytime, obviously. And today we're checking out a reality. That should be different colored. We are doing a video today where the Russians ended up getting what they wanted in the Crimean War. So they got ripped off, so basically what happened, for you guys who don't study history, I'm just trying to think of this in the best way I can to describe it. Okay, Shane, what? For you guys who don't understand, basically, they got super ripped off. What the Russians wanted was an independent Bosnia right here, an independent Serbia like that, and an independent Bulgaria, like a big one. Like, this is what they wanted. Okay? But in the end, what they ended up getting, Austria, this country, ended up taking Bosnia for fun. Serbia got expanded to there, and Montenegro got slightly expanded too. Bulgaria got a small state. And it was like that for quite a long time. So finally the First Balkan War happened, where the Bulgarians took some land, the Serbians took some land, the Montenegrins took some land, Albania got independence, and Greece took some land. So clearly, and also they wanted Greece to have something. So basically they got super ripped off. Oh, and they also wanted this little city, which is totally not the largest and maybe most important, not largest, but maybe most important city for trade in the world. Not only that, but also the most important city, definitely, in the world. So, and also they wanted some stuff over here. Probably that and some of that. So let's check out a reality where Russia actually got what they wanted. The start date right now is 1853. The Black Sea is perfectly fairly divided, right? The Russians got their space, the Turks got their space, and the Bosphorus was international, although the Ottomans made you pay to use it, right? Totally fair. Until one day, a ship from the Russian side got attacked by a shark and got crashed onto the other side, and they thought this meant war, and it got shot out. Now this broken ship, I'm just trying to draw the best broken ship I can. Here, I'll do it this way. The ship had been completely destroyed. 2 people had been killed. This made the Russians so mad that they started a war over it. No, wait, let me just quickly plug my iPad in before I get in with that, because, it's over at alright, I'll go over. You know what, I'll go over to my desk. Sorry if it's being loud and quiet, by the way. I don't have a mic, and I'm not staying in the same position right now. So, and I guess this is 2 videos, maybe even 3, that I'm posting today, so that's fun. Alrighty. Wait, I messed up. Alright, so now, let's get straight to, Alright, let's get straight to work. So, now, that boat had been broken. There are 2 deaths. And the Russians were madder than the mad emoji. They wanted to absolutely kill the Ottomans. By kill, I mean kill. They were done dealing with this. And so, on May 8th of 1853, the Russians declared war. Not just we're going to take some of your land war. All out war. And guess what really helps? The fact that the ruler of the Ottoman Empire, aka Turkey, was probably one of the most stupid people on the planet. With his brain being a pebble and him being a derpy, stupid ruler. So that helps. And he wasn't the brightest in military fights either. Immediately, Russian forces immediately pushed through, taking parts of, what's it called? Of Dobruja, invading through slowly. And I would say they'd get about here to where they'd encircle the entire port. Oh! And immediately the Russians enter the border of Moldavia. And with a 1 million men army aligned right here on their border, they immediately surrendered, not wanting to die that day. And I tell you what, they were smarter than the Ottomans, because they didn't decide to sink a major world power's boat. That's the difference. Oh, yet they were still only a part of them. Oh, and enslaved by them. Still smarter. Like they say, work smarter, not harder. On this side, the entire region of Abkhazia had fully surrendered. Well, I wouldn't say they surrendered. They actually fight very hard. So I want to say that they actually got taken over, but didn't surrender. And then over here, there's probably like 10 of Russians just flooding in to invade this place. Knock, knock, FBI, open up. Kicking down the Ottomans' door right now. So yeah, it's immediately not looking too good for the Ottomans. And if that ain't bad enough, the Russians set their eyes elsewhere. Oh wait, hold on. Now, oh wait, that's not how it works, I don't think. Oh well. The Russians had invaded from this side over into this side and made a landing right over here in Bulgaria. Wait 1 second. Sorry, hold on. Alright, sorry about that. My thing was glitched. And now, the Russians pushed through, invading lots of territories, and eventually reaching, I think it's called Plovdiv. I don't know. I'm one of the biggest, but not the biggest geographer. I don't know. Oh, wait, no. Plovdiv is over there, then Sofia's right there. Vaduz, I think. I don't know, I'm stupid. Then the Russians meet together and take over the rest of Dobruja. And they invade through what the Bulgarian part of Romania, or the Ottoman part of Bulgaria, or whatever you want to call it. And then finally the Bulgarians started to fight back. They were sick of this crap. And so in Sofia, they started a revolt. And they connected with the Russians. And they joined the Russians. And then finally, this northern area up here was smart enough to surrender. Now the Russian troops had fully entered Bulgaria and had been pushing for a while. In fact, it is almost, I would say it's probably around 1854 by now, maybe December 1853. And then on this side, well, things aren't just as bad, if not worse. They've made it all the way to that lake by Persia, and they've carved out a massive part of the Ottomans. And then it would then it would all go down on the day of defeat, where the Russians would send one ship over, and they'd go to here. They invaded through, tried to take that city, aka Constantinople, but their invasion failed. But they would do another one on that city and actually succeed. Then the British would make them back down. Stand down or be cut down. So then the Bulgarians would continue pushing through. The Bulgaro-Russian force and the Serbians would rise up too, declaring full-on independence. Oh, I forgot about Bosnia. Well, they would also declare independence. The United Slavic Force. And these three would declare full independence. Montenegro already had full independence, but they didn't really have land. That's what they desired. So they invaded for more. Maybe this won't be what if Russia got what they wanted in Crimean War. What if the Ottomans got worse terms? What if the Ottomans... I'll think of a title later. Jeez. Then the Bosnians will invade through their border, taking tons of stuff too. The United Slavic Front had now been pushing for a while. The Bulgarians joined the Slavic Front, along with the Russians, actually. And the hugest and one of the biggest fronts ever created in history had now been just created. There is now a front line starting in Montenegro, extending through Bulgaria, all the way up through until Crimea, over Circassia, and whatever that is, and through Abkhazia into the Caucasus. That's the entire front line, with them making campaigns in the sea too. That is probably the largest front line I've ever seen. Probably anyone's ever seen. That will be a monumental battle. One heck of it. Tell you that. And the Bosnians and Serbians and Montenegrins all expand their, well, you know. All expand their borders outward into... They now have a tri-convergence where all their borders meet, right there. Dang. With each country having their own respected side. It's actually a quadruple point because of the Ottomans too. But that would only last a day, as the Montenegrins would make a campaign, quickly ending the tri-point thing on March 10th, 2000. 2000. Okay, 1854. And then some Montenegrin troops would run freely, kind of showing that the Ottomans are weak. They wouldn't get caught for miles until they met up with the Greeks to tell them what was happening. Yep, they just got encircled. Albeit, the Greeks joined too. Yay, everyone wants to have fun. Now the front line is even longer. How much longer? Oh, you're about to see how much longer. 1 second. Okay, this crap starts in Greece, goes all the way through Montenegro, Bosnia, Serbia, Bulgaria, into Bulgaria, over Romania, through Russia, Crimea, the Black and Bosphorus seas, respectively, all the way till it meets the Ottoman line, which from there, the Ottomans are dead. The Ottomans will not be making it out alive on this one, and expands until that leak. Wow. That's a long front line if you've ever seen one. Now, with a final blow, the Greeks land in Thessaloniki, one of probably the most important cities in Greece. And this was now a Greek city. Thessaloniki is Greek now. For the Turks have officially been disappointed out of their lives and humiliated. Till finally that entire area becomes occupied by all the Slavic states. Yes, that's the division. That's the color until I find something. Then the Russians are now going to try their biggest feat ever. They're putting their foot down on the table. They've officially launched the boats to hit Constantinople. They hit the Bosphorus Strait. They blow up the bridge. They massacre the area. They kill hundreds of soldiers. They push through, taking every bit of Constantinople. On this hand, the British would say no. But the Russians would also say no. And the British don't want to war with the biggest country in the world. Not the strongest, but the biggest, mind you. Because they don't want to invade through all that. So then the British just kind of back down and say, fine, do what you want. And after a huge campaign onto the Ottoman territory, finally, the Ottomans are collapsing now. They have collapsing everything. Economy, and, well, there's even a revolt that takes place in Ankara, their new capital, in which they cannot take it anymore. They cannot handle it, for the power of all of the sides are coming crushing down. The people are finally fighting back. And actually, we might end up seeing an early collapse. I will propose 2 treaties. One that's mild, the main point of this video, and one that's actually so harsh, the Ottomans will die. The Ottomans have come to a close. They've surrendered to all parties of the war. They can no longer take it, and they've collapsed. Now, let's look at the treaty, shall we? Let me just rewind all, the entire video that's happened so far in just mere minutes. Because that is always fun. Alrighty. We have now undone everything that's happened in the video. Let's go ahead and start with what's happened in Romania. I'm going to go ahead and guess that both sides are going to try and get independence. So I'm going to give them that. Exactly what they want, independence. And this is actually, an amazing accomplishment. So, yeah. Now the Russians. They're not really going to take too much, actually. At least not in Europe. They're actually only going to take, 1/7 of a small sliver of that, of what they could have. And after that, the Russians are actually pretty happy with their gains in Europe. Take that for a note. Europe. Now they're going to mess with the Bosnian border. They're going to extend the Bosnians to there. Now the Austrians are going to say, join me or die. The Bosnians said, we'd rather die unless you give us our empire. And honestly, this was a good answer to the Austrians. And so, they gave them a border. They gave them a part of the empire. They were happy with that answer. They were genuinely happy with that answer. And so, the Bosnians got their own part of the empire. That means World War I's treaty is going to be a lot more complicated because now it's kind of, whack-tack back. So, yeah. Good job, Bosnia. You just made the World War I treaty so much harder. Unless you would have just said, I'd rather die. Yes, you'd lose millions of men, but my golly, it'd be so much more worth it than make the Entente go through so much trouble to have to divide you up. Right? The Croatians are like, literally, we are 90% of the southern empire, of your southern empire. And so the Croatians are given their own state as well, which would actually end up being integrated into the Bosnian one, making it to where there are 3 crowns now. The Austrian, the Croatian, and the Hungarian. Yeah, look at that. Alt history actually makes other weird things alternate too. Now, let's take a look at Montenegro. They did massive in the war, especially for that small of a country. So, wait, why did I say it like that? I had a voice crack. For that small of a country. So now what they are going to get are some major concessions. They're going to end up being massively bigger than they were in reality. Okay, I don't mean like Russia massive, but like they did a lot better than they did in our timeline. The Greeks. Ah, yes. The Greeks. The people who I like to imagine came from Grecos. Which, by the way, is pretty good, actually. But my parents don't really like it. Alright, so now, the treaty for Serbia, what they are going to get, they're going to get a pretty fair amount of land. In fact, some of that would come from a war between Montenegro and Serbia. The Serbians were not happy with with what they got. So the Montenegro surrendered after a day of finding out and actually said, geez, okay, we'll just give you the land. Why didn't you just ask? You rude little rat. And now, so yeah, the Bulgarians. Now here's the main idea of the video. They're going to get all of Macedonia, and they're actually going to get near Constantinople. And by near, I mean you can't even imagine how close to taking it they actually were. You'd never know. Like, literally. They ate all this and, well, the Turks are just left there to rot. Oh, did I mention, this entire area, the Bosphorus area, will be added as a new area in Russia. I wonder how that will affect the Soviet Union whole thing. But anyway, the Russians now own Constantinople. The Bulgarians are very happy with what they got, as they did some of the most stuff in the war. The Serbians are pretty happy, I guess, with what they got, but they're very mad about what Bulgaria got. The Montenegrins don't really care. They are not like the smallest state in the world, so they don't care. And lastly, there's an Albanian state, along with the Greeks getting what they earned, quote unquote, for the time. When in reality, they did not earn crap. They probably would have been better off getting annexed by the Ottomans than getting what they got. I'm gonna be honest with you right there. And then finally, on the east, the Russians would take some of this land, and actually out of generosity, some of their land, and create the new Republic of Armenia, which would end up being a kingdom after 2 years. But American influence is, so apparently American influence is not enough. Who knew? Look at that. Whoop. Whoop, 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 whoop. I can't get out of my head. Such a good diss track. I think Drake likes it. Bro got roasted to death. He's roasted beef at this point. And the two, weirdos of the Caucasus are going to be absolutely forced into joining Russia because, I would do the same thing. The borders look ugly ahead, and, they're just pointless. Although I will spare part of these, since they are kind of native. I will spare a few of them. But the Russian guys, they'll be drinking vodka in 2 seconds. Trust me. They'll be happy. They just haven't experienced Russian life yet. Once they have, they'll never go back. Trust me. I've had a friend of mine who did go to Russian life. He never came back. Although the British would still step in and force their way to get Constantinople by doing absolutely nothing. The Russians say no and say, I'm willing to make an international zone. Before doing this, you still have to pay money. Sure, less money. But, so like that, sadly, the area of Constantinople is now an international area. Although, to be fair, as a compromise, there are colonies allowed. So Russia's personally going to get the biggest colony of all, and then Turkey's also going to get a colony in the Asian portion. There will be a Turkish colony. But even though the colonies don't do anything, they still expand countries. Bulgaria is actually going to have a pretty big one, too. They're going to have a colony throughout, all of this glorious land. Hold on. Throughout all of this glorious land right here. The Bulgarians have a massive colony in the area. Who knew Bulgaria would end up being colonialist? Nobody knew. But now they do. Because they are. What do? The Austrians are actually more interested in getting a colony now. They just didn't really want one in Africa. And to make up for the fact they didn't get any in Africa, which is totally not years from now, I'll give them a decent-sized colony. Because that's fair. Although Europeans are almost never fair, I'm going to be fair today. I feel like being fair. European Constantinople. Who would that go to? I really wonder. I really wonder. Oh. I kind of still wonder who could it possibly go. Oh. Okay. Fine with me. The British are, of course, too lazy to not get a colony. So guess what they're going to get? A colony. Unfair. The French are going to get a colony by Bulgaria. Yeah, I know, this is so weird. But it works. And lastly, to be fair, the Greeks now have a claim on Constantinople. Along with actually this random region in the middle of nowhere called Pontus. Greeks now own this. The Greeks. And another thing, just to be fair, the Greeks are more than allowed to, if they show their identification that they're Greek, they're more than allowed to pass the Bosphorus fee-free via Russian policies, so they can get back to Pontius, or the other way around. If they want to move to mainland Greece, or if it's for tourism, any Greek can if they're doing it for just tourism or moving purposes. Otherwise, you do have to pay if you're Greek, especially if you're high up in royalty. Then you do have to pay. But that is one heck of a scenario. Thank you for watching this one heck of a video. I actually had fun making this, even though I'm tired as heck. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.